What's up, y'all? It's Diego Red back with another Rebel TV interview, man. Today I got somebody special for y'all. A lot of people know him in the industry, but for those who might not know who you are, introduce yourself, bro.
Hi, my name is Amir Abu Haqq Shabazz. Haqq Shabazz for short. But I'm known in the industry as the broker.
That's what's up. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning. Where you from?
The beginning, where I'm from, I would like to say, because my dad, he was from Cairo, Egypt, and my mom from San Juan, Puerto Rico. So we left there when I was a little lad, like I was like 3 years old, I think. We landed in a town in the States, Birmingham, Alabama, known where the great Temptations were from and other groups. But my dad and my mom somehow split up in between this time. And then my mom started messing with Otis of the Temptations.
Okay. About how old were you when your parents split and that happened?
About 5 or 6.
Okay, that's what's up. And then from there, what was
we
life
went on to Detroit, Hit Town, USA. They got a deal. Temptations got a deal, and my mom, she was going with Otis. He treated us good, as just like a real dad would. I was young, and then when I became 10 or 11, I started working for Berry Gordy as his runner, roadie, what have you. Like now they call them personal assistants. I was a flunky. That's what they called us back then. But anyway, we did what we had to do to make it happen.
So you jumped into the music business early?
Early in the game.
Okay.
Early in the game.
So from there, you doing he's sending you to pick up what reel to reels, or what was going on back then?
Yeah.
What were some of your jobs that Berry Gordy had you doing?
My job described was whatever needed to be done for him on an individual and on a like team level. I would go get, like, just say for instance, when we on the road on the Chitlin circuit, the Supremes, Temptations, Four Tops, Smokey, and the Jacksons, I think, was on the latter part. But it was 3 buses. Them old Continental Trailway buses, them nice Greyhound buses. He took 3 of them and fixed them up where they had stoves and everything. Back then, that was in the 60s. Because down south, we couldn't go in the restaurants and we couldn't stay at the hotels. So Berry would arrange it to hook up with the biggest church in every town we got to on the Mason-Dixon line, which is south. He would get the churches to let us stay in different patrons' houses, and he would pay them.
So he really needed the credit for the first mobile homes. He was making mobile homes out the buses.
That's right. So and it was really sort of like the Airbnb when we get to town, because we would stay with the church folks. Because like I said, restaurants and hotels was a no-no for us.
You was young then on the road, but do you recall like any racism?
Oh man, definitely. Mississippi, Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, even Florida, man. They was using the, your little Negro, what do you want? And I would be going to the store for somebody else, or get off the bus. We'd be in one of those towns. And you better not be out around sundown. I said, oh, Lord. Motown moved to the West Coast. So, and we came out there, my mother's sister, which is my auntie, Mary Wilson. She had a big old mansion in Hancock Park in L.A. And I kind of like started getting into the R&B and hip-hop. But my passion was always films. But the music is what catapulted me. I was always able to.
Were you ever trying to be an artist yourself? Or wanted to?
No, I was an actor.
So you kind of took to Berry Gordy, seeing him young, and that's what you knew you wanted to be.
Right. And I had a show called Carter Country back in the day that I was acting in. I was a regular, but it only lasted a couple seasons. Nonetheless, that was my thing. And then I went to a school in San Francisco called ACT. It's an actor where all the actors go. Matter of fact, me and Denzel went to school too. We was in that for 2 years. We was in that same class together. Matter of fact, it was verified like 30 years later at Sony's lot. We ran into him and he said, "I don't know no Shabazz. I know you was Rio Hammond." Yeah, so it was funny. I was
What was the Rio Hammond?
My name, Mac Rio. You see what I'm saying? So
well, because you introduced yourself as Haqq Shabazz.
Yeah.
That is a Muslim name, right?
That is my Islamic name.
So
yes.
You took that name at what age?
I took that name at like 17.
Okay.
17. My real name is Rio Homans.
Yeah, that's how you.
That's an Islamic name too. The last name. Last word. So, but getting back to the industry, I started doing a lot of road managing stuff, for different groups like Rick James, Parliament. I was just latching on, getting plugged in. See, back then it was easier to get plugged in.
Right.
It was way easier. Somebody liked you, you just had a gift of gab, and you was cool people. They said, "Come on, man, I'll get you a job. Why don't you do this?" They make up a job.
Connecting the dots, making things happen.
Yeah, and as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, sticking to the script, you had action.
Right. So you moved around the industry doing your thing. Who were some of your favorite people that you worked with?
People I really love working with the Jacksons, Temptations, Larry Graham Central Station. I did a stint with Prince and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Prince, may he rest in power.
After your time with Prince, that was what years was that?
Oh, that was around the early 80s, middle 80s, because when he did his first show at the Coliseum, LA Coliseum with Rolling Stones, Prince opened for the Rolling Stones. He came out with a diaper and a guitar. White boys were throwing tomatoes and eggs at him. "Hey, get off the stage, you little fag," and all that shit.
Little did they know who that was.
And only they didn't know it. I was on the side of the stage when Mick Jagger told Prince, he said, "Don't worry, young fella. You're going to be all right. You're going to be a superstar."
Yeah,
and man, and I heard that with my own young little ears, man. And it's just that I've been in the right place at the right time my whole life. A lot of my deals that go down for big movies that I've done go down at either day party, restaurant, some even in church, in the mosque. Because I'm a Muslim of al-Islam.
Right.
All praise to Allah, one and only true God. But man, it's just that God has been blessing me from the day that seemed like the day I was born. I've had my shortcomings with incarceration in California in the federal system and the state system.
We're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
But after that time period and that music, hip hop emerged. Well, hip hop was already emerging,
right?
But
right.
West
Hip hop was emerging in '79. Yeah, West Coast, T and all of them and them cats was Cube and Ice-T and all of them was some other cats named older cats. But anyway, they was all DJ Quick, High C. They was all coming into it, putting the West Coast on the map. Like we never left.
Did you initially take to that like you took to?
Oh man, I took to it because I had one person, one particular rapper. A lot of people claim and all that, but a friend of mine that was with a friend of my uncles, James McClain, and I'm gonna get to that too. That was part of the Black Panthers, and Afeni Shakur was a Panther. So we went to Baltimore, my family, and on the way back, it so happened Afeni, Mo Preem, and Tupac and his sister were driving back, and I was like 19, and they needed somebody to help drive. So they followed. I drove to Vanagon with Afeni and with Tupac and them in the back, and Mo Preem and the other kids. And we drove from the East Coast to the West Coast. And they went to Marin City over to his auntie's house, and we went to Oakland to Vermont. But I was the one that got Pac his first job with Digital Underground when he was with Tommy Boy, which is a record company.
Okay, so when you left, coming to the West Coast, you went to LA. And then you ended up spending some time. You went back, then came to the Bay Area?
Right. Then I ended up in the Bay when I was about 15, all up.
Okay.
My grandmother was there in the village, and then I was part of a faction of the underworld where, we all had to do what we got to do.
What area, if you don't mind?
In East Oakland and West Oakland.
Okay. That's
more of Felix Mitchell's crew, 69th Mob. Little Skank got in trouble, went to prison, got out, and that's when I got out the last time, which was in 01 or 03.
So how many times had you been to prison?
I got over 27 years incarcerated, and I got over 30 out.
You mind speaking on any of the charges? Or the longest? What's the longest bid you had?
I did 11, 6, 4, 3, and 4 again.
So the first time.
The first time.
Before you go into the penitentiary, you had to go to jail a couple times.
Right.
So you was moving kind of mean in the street already.
Right. And the first case I got was called, and I'm not gonna say it, but it's an old law. It's called White Slavery, Pimping and Pandering. And that was one of my first cases. I was about 19, and I had to take the beef because Fee and them was too big to ride the beef. What it was, we was at this concert backstage. Two white girls say, "Hey, I'll blow your whole crew for a quarter $8." Back then powder coat bitches was snorting powder. And so I hooked them up and took them up to my penthouse, and they got down with them. Now, what I heard, one of the white girls wanted some more, right? And they said, "Let's get out." They kicked her out. So 2 days later, I'm at the house laying up because it's my spot. Police come and they charged me with the shit that they did to her, right? But the broad said it wasn't me. They just said I dropped out. I didn't get out the limo with them, right? So they had a big thing, and I had to plead to a lesser charge, some bullshit, right? And I went and did the time. Fee and them took care of me and everything. Then I got out, and Damon I had stacks of money and left it with Damon. Then In Your Face came about, and Damon said, "Well, this is what I'm doing now. Since you got a jug in here, you might as well." And that's what I took up when I was inside.
So the long bid, though, the 11-year.
Oh, yeah. That was.
You mind speaking on charge of that?
That was for attempted murder, and maybe a murder that was dropped.
Were you Muslim going to the penitentiary?
No, I was in faith, but not in principles.
Not practicing everything.
Practicing, but I started practicing once I got. I've been practicing for the last 30 years now. I speak Arabic fluently, and I can say my prayers in Arabic. I teach the Arabic.
Right, for sure. You practice morning over breakfast.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember the first time going to the pen for the first time? You remember your mind state?
Afraid? Yeah, man. What it was, I was mad because I had hella bread out on the street. Man, when I was 18, I had a 1957 drop top right-hand drive Rolls Royce. And I had, when I went to jail, I had left everything with my grandmother. I had stacks, money. I was all right. But everybody thought I was pimping, but I wasn't. I had a heiress. I had an heiress, which is she was an heir to ITNT, not AT&T. I think I shared this with you once before. And she died coming to see me in the pen. Man, it was in a car crash. And left me insurance about 300 bands. This was in 89, 90, 91. So when I got out, I was sick. And I was with my wife. My wife always knew it was Harris. But anyway, that's neither here nor there right now. But the queen that I'm with now, we've been together for damn near 50 years.
Well, going back to the penitentiary, though, you get to the penitentiary. It's familiar faces when you arrive.
Oh, yeah. And then
your head on a swivel.
But this is what the old man told me. He said, "Don't fuck with no civilians, which is punks. Don't gamble. Don't borrow. Don't lend. And be your own man. Don't click up." It was hard because all my family was Panthers. See what I'm saying? So
the Panthers in prison was...
The Panthers in prison are a spinoff of the BGF, Black Gorilla Family.
Right. So it was a little different than
Yeah, they the vanguard
on the street. On the
right.
street, it's food programs and things. In
right,
prison,
it was you got to put in work.
A little violent.
Put in very violent.
Okay.
Man, I've experienced some stuff. I have never been stabbed, shot, or I've been shot in the head on the street in a drug war, but I have never been in prison or anything like that. I put work in, but you know, it is what it is, man. You got to either survive or you don't survive.
So the last stint you ever had there, what year was that?
That was like
coming out. What year? What's the
for,
last time you came out? What year?
2001. That was when me and Suge was in jail together. That was me and him was in the jail from '97. Suge Knight from '97 all the way to 2001. We was in the cell together, and then they split us up because of over familiarity with staff, with officers. Suge was paying the way down there with the, getting what he wants, which is most people with money. That's what they do in prison.
Right. So what's your mindset getting ready to come home in 2001?
Man,
what you got planned to come home and do?
Man, I came home to see I was gonna get my property, my house, and my grandmama died and left me.
So film wasn't in your plans until you got home.
No, it was. It was in my plans, but I had to have first a base station, a place to stay. So, and I had the deed to the house because the house. Then I found out my brother and my auntie made a lot of rest of their soul, sold the house while I was in jail, and then let me know. They gave me a dime. Man, oh man, I was hot. H-O-T.
How did you deal with that?
I had to go through the authorities to deal with it, legal process, and they kind of came down. They shook some of the trees. Some of the money came. I had some crumbs left, about 30, 40 grand. But I wasn't coming back to doing nothing in the streets. I was going legit.
Right. So what's the first legitimate thing?
I did. I started a label called Lock and Load with a dude named Von Wilson. We had a compilation called Lock and Load compilation with Drew Down, the Loonies, Big Time Crazy. This was a while back. And then I started a film company called Hammerlock Entertainment Group. And I started making little shorts. Started doing shorts. Then I did a movie with Bokeem Woodman, Glenn Plummer, Chico Wells of the Five Heartbeat, one choir boy. And what's our homegirl from Oakland? Comedian, not Linnell, the other one.
Some more?
No, the other one. What's the other one? The first one before Linnell. What's her name, man? Oh man, I got pictures of her in my phone. But anyway, her and Belinda Talbert from the Jeffersons, the daughter upstairs.
Linnell?
Not Linnell, but it's Miss Laura.
Okay.
Miss Laura.
Looking forward to the future, man. What you got in the works?
Man.
What are some of the recent things you've done? What you got planned?
Some of the recent things I've done, I did some musical stuff with this guy. He's a great pianist. I forgot his name is Ricardo Scales. And I had an artist I was managing by the name of Cam Crazy and Chad Montgomery. And I kind of severed because in music, my wife said it was taking up too much of my time. She wants me to stick with film. Now I got 2 films coming out that I executive produce. One is going to be on Tubi on the 11th, 11/11/22. And in the Masonry and Islamically, 11/11 means abundance of wealth. So those numbers, and we didn't pick that date. Tubi picked that date exclusive for the movie, and it's called I Thought You Knew, with Snoop, Felicia Pearson, Glenn Plummer, Marcus Pope from the Louder family and the Proud family, Marcus Pope, and this other boy, Dragon. They in there, and it's a thriller. It's a roller coaster ride.
Dragon from Rough Riders?
Yeah.
Okay, and you said Felicia Pearson. That's Snoop. That's Snoop
right.
Was in the Wire, right?
That's right. And the name of the movie is I Thought You Knew. Now the movie's gonna be out on the 11th, 11/11 on Tubi, exclusive. And then I have another one called Survival with Elise Neal and Miguel Nunez and several other big actors. Dylan. Oh man. Survival is a Rough Rider. It's like a a movie where a woman gets carjacked by this white dude. He rapes her. Oh, it's a thriller, man. It's a thriller. And then we're working on Time Zero, me and Damon and I. And then another project popped up out of Arizona with a guy we used to do a lot of his videos, Native Made Entertainment, by the name of Young Wax, who goes by Big Wax now. And me and are anticipating working on getting his stuff. Now he has Glenn Plummer, he has Mike Epps coming up, Clifton Powell, and maybe another actor. His name escapes me right now. But yeah, my hands is all in
working. Still actively working.
Still active, still moving.
That's what's happening, bro.
Pushing it forward.
Appreciate you coming through.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Anybody want to follow you on Instagram? How do they find you?
On Instagram, it's HAQQSHABAZZ. Haqq Shabazz, all one word, lowercase. Facebook, Twitter, and I'm working on TikTok, y'all. It's Haqq Shabazz, everything. So hit me, y'all. Reach out and holler.
Man. Appreciate you coming through, bro.
Yes, sir. Peace.